We know, in fact, that God works all things together for good with those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. That may not be the translation that you knew. It certainly isn't the translation that I learnt when I was younger. I learnt, as many of you will have done, the idea that God works all things together for good for those who love him. Well, I still want to say there is a truth there. God is sovereign, and those who are his people can trust that his will be done. But I don't think that's what Paul is talking about here, because it isn't actually what the Greek text says. The Greek text has a verb in the middle, which is definitely about working with, not for. Sun ergi. Erg is the work bit. Sun means with. God works all things for good with those who love him. What is Paul talking about? Well, in the verses immediately before, which in the usual reading feel a bit detached, actually, Paul is talking about the prayer life of the people of God, particularly the prayer life at the heart of the darkness of the world. Paul talks about the whole creation groaning together like a woman in labor pains, longing for the new creation to be born. And then he talks about us too, groaning as we wait for our adoption as God's sons and daughters, the redemption of our bodies. We are longing for resurrection, and therefore at the heart of the groaning of creation, we have the groaning of the church. But then Paul says that actually the Spirit groans within us as this is going on. And we have here a Trinitarian theology of prayer, that God gives his people his own Spirit, so that by their wrestling with the problems and pains and sufferings of the world, in and through God's Spirit, they may be part of God's ongoing work in the world and for the world. So we know that God works all things together for good through and with those who love him. And that idea of loving God, which looks back to the great Hebrew prayer, the Shema, you shall love the Lord your God, which Paul has alluded to in Romans chapter 5 already. This is a picture of God inviting his people to share with him in the work he is doing in the world.